What's this? 4 limited equipment and we can only get 1? Oh, that is not fun! Fryevia's been announced! Honestly, this isn't a big surprise given that we knew the upcoming Clash of Foes boss was weak to Ice and Light, plus it was April, the month of Easter, origin of 4 popular units, a 3-star, and Melia. But still, it's cool to finally see her, and given the great showing of previous global original units, I have high hopes for this time around as well. So let's take a look at this banner. From what we can see, it's not premium, but it's not exactly cheap either. Unlike the previous Roberta banner, there aren't any fragments available, but in return you do get 100 extra VIP coins, which, honestly, if you put in the VIP shop, the equivalent is actually 1,000 VIP coins. And, I don't think you're in the majority if you prefer this. But hey, what's at the end of the banner? There's no special vision card, but there is this dark ticket thing. By getting this ticket, you can exchange it for one of 4 equipment. The Ready Steady Garb, the Magical Misdirection Trench, Spectral Fields Forever, or Black Submarine. As you can obviously tell from the names, the last 2 things are materias. If you look at the effects, the names actually make sense, but it's gonna take some time to get used to, and when you want to build Riser, make sure to equip the Spectral Fields Forever. Now jokes aside, these equipment are actually pretty good. The first 2 have good stats and boast the highest evasion you've ever seen, either physical or magic. Physical is generally used more, but enemies are starting to learn how to aim. The materials boost attack and magic by 50%, then give strong double killers against 3 different species. Unfortunately, there's really no easy choice between the 4. While evasion will likely be used most, killers are often used best. So ultimately what's best for you will greatly depend on what you're missing. Personally, in my case, that's aquatics or plants, and they're not even on the same materia. Okay, I see how it is. Now even if you use one or decide to skip the banner altogether, it might not be the last time you see this ticket, as apparently they'll be bringing it back in the future. Likely just to save costs so they don't have to make great vision cards. Come to think of it, it wouldn't be a bad idea to throw the limited vision cards in a shop like that either. Oh yeah, Fryevia. Now even if you complete all 6 stats, that's only 6 tickets, and you still need 4 more for a safety net. That's where the other banner comes into play. This time, it's literally the same as before. Nothing special here. Again, as always, you could cut down on lapis costs by just sticking with this banner and only going to the special one for the first 2 steps, and that would save you 3,000 lapis. And while the equipment can be pretty good, if you don't really care about the other materials, you're essentially using 3,000 lapis on the equipment. Which, really, your mileage may vary. Now, of course, the step-up banner does feature rates up, but in my experience, not once have I ever gotten the featured unit from that, so you have to forgive me if I'm a bit skeptical. And we're still not at Fryevia. Whoa, wait a second, is that a Master Crown? Oh ho, so they're putting fragments, mystery crystals, and a Master Crown in the exchange coin shop? Now, I have been told that that's actually been implemented in last week's banner, but admittedly I didn't pay attention because I didn't really care about the units themselves. Okay, finally Fryevia. In her first form, she's a magic damage dealer and supporter, while in the second, she's a physical damage dealer and a debuffer. From this, it looks like they're doing away with hybrid damage dealers, and just sticking with split rows. But speaking of rows, that looks pretty ambitious. Personally, this makes me remember Reese, who also had 4 rows and a true brave shift. In her case, her support was stat buffs and her debuffs were breaks, and while both were strong, they were really there as a byproduct for damage. Compare this to, say, Roberta, who also had impressive damage output on her release, but her support kit also had much more depth. Admittedly, Roberta isn't really a breaker, but I digress. Let's take a sneak peek at what Fryevia has to offer. We'll check out her vision card later. Let's start with her Trustmaster reward. It's a materia that lets your unit equip swords, and boost their attack, magic, and limit burst damage by 50%. So it definitely draws some similarities from Roberta, but more units will benefit overall with that limit burst damage boost as opposed to, say, jump damage. Getting to equip swords can be an added bonus too, though of course that depends on your unit, your team, and the fight at hand. Her Super Trustmaster reward is a 2-handed sword with high attack and magic. It also has additional passives. When equipped to a Fryevia, it gives her 800 flat attack and magic. Furthermore, it also boosts limit burst damage by maybe 50%, and boasts a double killer against demons and reapers. Onto abilities. We can see one of her EX abilities not only unlocks additional stats, but boosts the damage limit for various chains. Given the wording, I'm pretty certain they're talking about the chain raid like Avalanche's Tifa's Trustmaster reward, which is certainly nice, but not often as used as, say, Indestructible Light. Her Brave abilities do a good job giving us an insight to her support and debuff rows. The first one consumes a portion of her limit burst gauge to inflict an Ice Imperil, then imbues and amplifies ice for your team, and additionally activates the unknown area effect. I really think it might be like Louise, which boosts elemental damage, but it could also maybe be like Esther's and boost limit burst damage. Regardless of what that area effect does, given our last elemental supporter's super amazing ability, we'd expect something on the same level, say 45% amplification buffs. Currently, the only unit that can both amplify and imbue ice to that level is a EX plus 3 Yoshikiri, and I don't have that. There's also Bulwark and Celeste though, and while they don't support to the same level, they're definitely still pretty good. And while we're on the topic of ice, I do wonder if she could do the same for light, given her forms. However, it's also possible she only buffs ice for her team in the first form, as the second form isn't a supporter at all. The second ability is a Magnus ability that can be used twice per battle. It's a Dispel plus Full Break and throws on an Ice and Light Imperil. We don't know the level of these effects, but I'm hoping the Full Break is around 87 to 90% since it is a Magnus ability. As for the Imperils, I'm hoping they're above 140%, just to compete with those recent Pure Breakers. These abilities also make me wonder whether or not Fryevia will be flexible. Her first ability is an Imbue, so it's possible that her damage dealing capabilities are non-elemental. Of course, most of her damage will likely come from imbuing and amplifying a given element, but it's all still speculation, so let's leave it at that. Clash of Wills. This time we're fighting Dream Wraith, which I'm not sure if it has anything to do with Fryevia at all. I'm not quite sure how important Fryevia will be to this specific fight. We do know you have to hit it with its elemental weakness, but if that's it, I'm sure you can make do with other units. Some Clash of Wills bosses didn't need the associated unit to complete the challenging level 99 fight, so I'm hoping this follows a similar trend. They're also showcasing a new type of reward equipment. This time around, it's an accessory. The high stats are, as always, amazing, but let's take a look at the passives. The first one adds Indestructible Light, which given you may already have taken that option for the last two, do you really need a third? Maybe. It's an accessory, come on! This time practically everyone, even the robots, even Riser, even I can equip that! Also, if you haven't gotten the first two anyways, it does give you the opportunity to choose something else, but back to this. The second one is Flat Stats, the third and fourth boast 3 double killers, and the last one enables a ability, which removes status ailments, then grants resistance to said status ailments plus breaks. I really wish they'd implement some kind of system where you can just switch between your options, because it's really not easy to get everything. Which, unfortunately, I guess is the point. Obnoxious Drop. Green. They're doing away with that red-orange, here they come with green. This time the units showcased are Louise, Olivera, Rocca, Riku, Celeste, Charlotte, plus Dragonfly Destroyer, where did that come from, and Prideful Incarnate, another awesome equipment featured on that sad banner. Another excellent set of awards here. Personally, I'm thinking the equipment is best, given that there's currently no other way to get them, but the units are also great choices. Louise has a lot of buffs and a 90% Spirit Break, but her voice acting isn't that good. Olivera is a great unit, and I also don't have him. Rocca can reduce cooldowns, and I've used her many times in events and fights to great success. Celeste is a good magic tank, though admittedly that ice support might now face competition. Charlotte honestly isn't the best damage dealer, but I don't have her either. And Riku, well, she's getting buffed. So just wait like 5 months, if that'll even appear. Equipment Enhancement Event. This time it's pretty obvious what this is for. Finally, Fryevia's Vision Card. This one is incredibly straightforward. Strong attack and magic, passive stat boosted further, and when equipped onto a unit from the very game you're playing, 250 flat stats. It's a vision card you equip when you don't really need anything extra, and while it doesn't do anything special, it's a good card just because a lot of units can make good use of it. Also, what? They're actually updating the vision card shop? They're only really adding 4. Tulian, Final Fantasy V, Kane, and Bridia, but I suppose it's nice that they're staying on top of this. Tulians can particularly see some decent use, if you've got a plan for it. And that's the news this week. Neo Vision Fryevia, choose 1 wave goodbye to 3. I wasn't a fan of Chromatic Wave. Super Robot Accessories. Make sure to use those drops, I'm still debating by the way. What even is an obnoxious drop? Equipment Enhancement Event, more Vision Cards, and lastly a Neo Vision Cards that's not being added. Thanks for watching, and if you liked this video, leave a like and subscribe. Tell me what you think of the news. I'm super disappointed that there's no storyline or wolf dog dad die.